Hello, my name is Greg Pfleghaar with the Manufacturing Intelligence Division here at Matrix Technologies. I'm joined today with John Lee. We'd like to share some insights on how to turn manufacturing data into actionable information. We will show you some examples of how having the right visualization tool can help users view data in a contextual way that provides valuable information for decision making. John, please take it away.
Today, we wanted to just share some information that we see a lot with our customers within the manufacturing shop floor and just how to turn data into actionable insights. We found no matter where you are in your digital manufacturing journey, some of the key aspects of that are just connecting data, collecting it, and visualizing it. And one of the most important pieces to get to those insights and getting the information really comes through on the visualization piece and how you can get that data into the right consumers, the stakeholders, and really enable and empower them to make actionable decisions. So Greg and I wanted to share with you today some of the tools that we incorporate into our solutions and just kind of talk through what kind of value they can bring and what kind of empowerment they offer for the stakeholders. So as I go through here, we're going to look at a couple different examples and just how that information comes through. So once you can connect all the assets within the shop floor, and you can collect the data, whether it's into databases, relational databases, or historians, then you're on that layer of how do you visualize it and get it into the hands of those people that can make decisions, can really take action and have some outcome. So one of the first ones I have is a common one that we see a lot is SQL Server Reporting Services. It's part of the Microsoft SQL Server package. It has a lot of capabilities. What I'm showing on the screen today is some of the filtering at the top. We find a lot of the information can be in different context, which is a key from turning data into information is having the right context. In this example, we're going to take a look at just real quick some batch reports. In this case, I'll just run it with some date times and some basic parameters. And as you can see, I can go through and see, in this case, a batch listing that I could look for batches on maybe like a time frame. But once I have the list of all the batches, I can really identify some high-level detail about times and states. You can see there are interactive sorting indicators. Most reporting visualization tools will offer those types of sorting and interactive attributes to the reports. This one actually offers what we call drill through. So drill through is when you go to a linked report or another one that is in the context of the data that you're looking at. So in this case, I can see the tooltip comes up. This would be a batch that is already completed, and I can look at a batch summary. So if I just click on this, it will go in and give me details. In this particular one, you can see there is what we call drill down capabilities, right? So that whenever there's a plus symbol or an area where you can drill down and get more details, when you collapse it, it actually is aggregating the total time here and some other parameters. You can drill down each level, or in this case, there is a show all levels, which is very nice. So when you click on that, you can actually show all levels. And here you can see the aggregation is then broken down into time segments. In this case, it's different phases within the operation of a batch. So these are one way that reports can help really get information into the right context is when you employ, the drill down capabilities. You might want to drill through or link to other reports. You can also see this has icons at the top with the tool tips where I can see additional information. I can also see these time periods in a graphical aggregation. So I can see the phases laid out here in a horizontal view. So I can get a quick view of where everything is. So this is one of many tools that we do employ that gives a lot of detail, helps break things down. I can use the browser's back button to go back. I can also look at other things like details, where I can go in and see a lot more detail. Again, just for time, we'll just go ahead and show all levels and show that it can really drill down into the details of a batch. So this is where putting that context into place really can start getting you the right information that you need to make decisions. Another simple one I wanted to show that is also in SQL Server Reporting Services is just a high level. This is just an example that comes with AdventureWorks, but it shows a lot different graphic indicators. So this actually has spark lines, charts, graphs, but you can really see from a high level, you can get an idea of the information that you're looking at. And then in this case, we can also do the expansion where we expand all. You can see that there is drill down capabilities indicated by the collapse, expand and collapse, or plus and minus symbols. But in this overall overview, you can even have visual indicators such as green lights, something that would be a yellow caution, or a red if there's an error or an issue to be resolved. If I were to drill into just one of these, oh, first it would do that. So I'll reload real quick. Those do happen from time to time, but as we see, once I do expand it and drill down, then I can get a breakdown. In this case, it's example data where I can break into an area or region, and I can see individual contributors, and I can see actually the breakdowns by their lines. So again, this is just some tools that help put that information into various contexts for, various types of data consumers. The next one I will show is Power BI, which is a common tool that we're seeing a lot more within manufacturing. So, this really has a lot of business analytic capabilities. They have slicers, they have selectors, a lot of different tools built into Power BI. So a lot of capability there. It is typically an IT tool, but we're seeing it a lot more with the OT as well, or operational technologies, and that operational data coming up from the manufacturing plant floor. Here I'm just going to walk through, but as you can see, you can have all types of different graphics, indicators. You could go into, different types of breakdowns. This example that we have developed is more around energy management. So you can see it has aspects of water, air, gas, electric, steam, or wages. And as I look at different views, I can get into like a monthly breakdown. And here you can see the kind of selectors that would allow you to drill into different layers or levels of context. This could be areas or lines or assets. In this example, it is more based on locations and times. But we do see where there are a lot of capabilities here, and having that roll up and aggregation in interactive abilities is really helpful for the data consumers, for everyone that's looking at the reports. Greg, a couple questions. If you have any, I'll stop there and see if you want to add anything.
Yeah, John, like a report like you're looking at now, the refresh on this just seems like it's very, very fast. Is this stored locally, or how are you getting the screen so quickly?
So Power BI can run in different environments. It does use Microsoft Fabric. So in most IT environments, it can run in the cloud, but you can have local Power BI servers based on SQL Server. There are capabilities to do that. And it's really driven by data models behind the scene where you can create views or you can create parameterized models. And you're right, it is very interactive, very quick on the refresh, and it makes it very nice and a very useful tool.
Something else that I'm also noticing is that how much data is on the screen. What if I want to drill down on some of those, like on that previous on your wages report down to a month? Can I do that quickly?
Sure. So as we have the slicer laid out here, you can drill down all the way into just a single month. You can remove them. If I were to uncheck at the top and I just wanted to see a certain quarter for this area, I can quickly get there. And as you can see how responsive that is, Greg.
Does it matter if this is like on-prem or if it's in the cloud? As far as what works best for some customers versus others?
We're seeing architectures with both. It can be on-prem. It is designed to run well in the cloud. We do understand not all manufacturing data is directly promoted to the cloud or ingested up into the cloud. There are customers that have private tenants already running in the cloud. So it really depends on the customer, and we walk through that with them on what's best and what's most responsive.
And I noticed that when you first started, you talked about the Connect, and I'm assuming the Connect is local to the plant, but noticing that this report here has multiple sites in it, I'm assuming that there's edge connectivity then?
Absolutely. When we look at those architectures, Matrix Technologies, we have a system infrastructure group that will help with any type of industrial controls networking design, filling that up in a secure manner. Sometimes we're still using, firewalls or having a DMZ where we can collect data and then we can promote that aggregated data. Sometimes we'll have those edge devices where we can promote it straight to the cloud. In this case, that's a good point. When you're looking at different regions and areas and you're looking at that enterprise level data, that is most served in like enterprise data centers, or what today we often see the cloud as the repository for that.
Does the plant, being that this is multiple plants, is there any chance of having to have cybersecurity issues with having the edge gateways or the edge communications?
There's always those considerations. We do follow a lot of best practices within our system infrastructure group here at Matrix. It is usually just a one-way outbound. That's the way the edge is designed to work. It helps, isolate that and provide that security at that layer. And that is something that we look at when we come up with those different architectures.
Well, thank you. Can you show us some other reports?
Sure. So I'll go to the next one.
Oop,
I I have it loaded. This is a newer tool that Matrix has started employing. It is Axiom. It's a graphical tool. It can run both in the cloud. It can run on-prem. It is included with the Canary Historian when you're looking at that, but it can run with other data sets. It's a really nice graphical tool that has a lot of good features. In this particular example, it's pseudo built on enterprise site area line cell. But we do see we have an enterprise layer. In this case, it is water and the pumps and the towers. So it goes from enterprise to district, and then individual towers and lookups. And as you can see, there's a lot to it. You can have the graphics. It's a nice dashboard. It has the tiles that work with different widgets. And as you drill through the data, you can see from the enterprise, you can get into the districts and see all the individual pumps that are shown there. You can also have different views here to help get it into the right context. So if you prefer a tabular view or you want to see everything lined up in more of a tabular layout, as well as you can have a station view for individual stations. So there are a lot of different ways where you can have different tabs, or you can, drill down into it. In this case, when we have the individual stations, we can see individual pumps. There are different ways to model this data. So we might have like East Pump or West Pump. In this case, the example is just Pump 01, Pump 02, Pump 03. But when we do the data modeling and we really work on that connect, collect, and visualize piece, we do consider how best to model the data so it's informative to all end users, right? So whether you're in, engineering, maintenance, quality, even operations or corporate, that you can understand the data model and where the individual data is coming from. In this one, we can even drill into an individual pump and get a lot of good metrics on that individual pump. There's a lot you can interact with these. You can see the different icons. This is actually real-time charting. If I just give it a second. you can maybe see that it's actually real-time charting that data as it's coming through. So this one has a lot of rich graphics. All of these I've shown today are web-based, so they are available for most any clients, whether they're mobile or their tablets. And as well, they can be embedded into like HMI SCADA on the plant floor, available to the operations, office staff. As long as we can have access to the data, these types of visualization tools bear a lot of fruit and help people make those types of actionable insights and decisions that we were talking about.
John, how would you recommend to a customer? Because looking at, you've kind of presented SQL type reports, you've done the Power BI report, you've done this Axiom. How does a customer that doesn't currently have reporting know which one to select? Or is this something that you would help with?
Yeah, so normally we do just a little bit of requirements gathering to understand the type of data we're going to look at. We want to understand, what is some of their current assets, even with technologies, if they already are leveraging one reporting solution over another, what kind of capabilities and the visualization tools that they're looking for. So we do help with that determination, and we do like to give a couple options or comparisons, especially if they're looking for something new or they currently don't have anything. We certainly find customers that are already using, the SQL tools. They may have like PyVision in place already, and then we're kind of just extending and scaling out their current, visualization set or reporting tools. But it's something we can certainly walk them through. We like to consider that, total cost of ownership, right? Like what tools are easy to use or extend upon? Are they going to have capabilities internally? Or is that one of their requirements that they're able to maintain it or to get someone trained in the tool, to be able to help maintain it moving into the future? So those are conversations that we do have up front as we capture all the requirements and work on delivery.
Thank you. With batch reporting, is this something that, that the report could actually be generated out to print as well as on screen? Is that an
Sure.
option that could be automatically built in?
Sure. Most tools, like even this current one, there are options to export data. You can export it if you want to do further analysis in a spreadsheet or an Excel tool. If I do switch back to, the reporting services, again, this is built into Microsoft SQL Server. This has export capabilities built in. If you develop formatted type paginated reports, more than just like a web-based dashboard, these will offer that formatting where you can print them. Most batch reports need to be print capable, so they do have to have the correct pagination and format. You can see the printer icon is here. It offers a lot in the toolbar that you can navigate through the report and back up. In this case, there's no alarms there, but for the sample data. But there's a lot of built-in tools that most packages today are going to have. And then Power BI is another one. If I can switch to that one. Power BI is another one that does offer some of that capabilities. You do have to have some considerations up front when you're looking at the web-based, more of the dashboards and the interactive analytics tools, whether or not you want the data to be printable. A lot of times when they export, they're just going to export the raw data that you're seeing behind the graphics or behind the widgets.
I noticed on that page that there's a subscribe to report. So that's something that I could have it just generate a report every day.
Yeah, so some of these tools do offer subscription-based delivery, right? So Power BI is one. The SQL reporting services also can allow you, if the administrator allows the permissions, to where you could subscribe and get a report emailed to you. You can have it emailed in different formats like raw data, Excel, even PDF. So you can get that data, I guess, subscribed to you or transmitted to you via email or something. We do see that occasionally, especially with like end of shift logs or daily logs or records where they want it to be automatically generated. Some of the tools do offer automated printing capabilities, and we have utilities that we can use at Matrix to provide that as well.
Thank you, John. This has all been really good. A lot of information you passed on to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Greg. And just to close, just wanted to, kind of get that message across, right? That, being able to take the data, unlock that data from your plant floor, right? There's a lot of what people might call, unknown or dark data. There's a lot of smart assets that we see out in the manufacturing plant floors that can easily get data out of them, transmit them. There are in digital manufacturing, there are IoT type tools, sensors. There's reliable connections that we can get through the controls and automation. But really connecting everything up in the plant, starting to collect that, and then offering some level of visualization as you're working on, embarking on maybe a digital transformation or enabling more smart manufacturing intelligence. So if you have questions, Matrix would be happy to help and happy to have a conversation.
Thank you again, John. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.